For more great content, hit the subscribe button and ring the bell.
What is up, you guys? Welcome back to another episode of Showstopper here for Upcomer. I am your host, Yinsu. I am back, and I'm back here this time with Danny, all the way from the US. Danny, I know VCT is going on where you are right now, but come on, EMEA, we reign supreme. We've got the better team still, it looks like.
I know, I hate to admit it, and honestly, I think the EMEA was a lot more interesting to watch, so I hope that NA kind of ramps up a little bit, but it's kind of looking boring right now, honestly.
Yeah, we have another special guest with us who is anything but boring. I'm kind of giving it away a little bit with my jersey, but this is a momentous occasion. Not just one of the most experienced IGLs in Valorant, but in all of FPS. I've waited a long time to make this happen, but, you know, BIG, for a little while, it was a bit shaky for you guys, but finally, God beat, you guys made it. You guys have been absolutely incredible so far in 2022, but welcome to the show. It's great to have you here.
Yeah, thank you. It was my fault because we didn't play it as good that we can finally meet, so I'm sorry for let you guys wait.
No, it was definitely not your fault. Definitely not your fault. We're going to start with a tier list this week, and we're going to tier list all of the EMEA teams that have qualified already to VCT. So me and Danny have made ours. I'm going to show you Danny's first. I'm going to send this to you on Discord because, like I said, I feel like some communities might be have something to say about this. Here we go.
Maybe he can explain himself, you know?
Yeah, I'm going to let Danny explain himself first, God, before you roast him. But yeah, Danny, let's talk about this list.
Well, obviously, we're going to put the people that were in the Valorant Champions Finals, Ascended Gambit in S tier. They're the kind of the undisputed great team right now. And then next we have Guild. Guild's on the rise. Guild was pretty good, in 2021, and they're keeping up with their train. I hope that they can keep being at the top. And then Fnatic and Team Liquid are both also self-explanatory. I wish Liquid had a little bit better performance at Champions, but still, I would consider them A overall. And then you have Big, FPS, Supermassive Blaze, and Navi. Navi, I'll be honest, I haven't watched that much of, and I know that everyone's going to roast me for putting BBL in C tier.
I think you have a death wish. Like, you cannot put BBL in the C tier for anything.
I need to be more impressed with Turkey this year. I need them to just come out swinging a little bit harder than they did in 2021. I mean, they did really well. You have CNED, Valorant champion, but them as a region, they just need to punch a little harder, I feel like. And then G2, the last time you and I did this show together, we interviewed a G2 player. But it's just not gone well for them, and someone had to go in the D tier, so G2 it is.
I do want to start by asking Gob of Danny's choice of putting BBL in the C tier. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure you have experience as well with a lot of the Turkish scene. I know you speak Turkish too, so what do you make of that?
Like first impressions, first thing what comes in my mind, it's not a bad tier list.
Oh,
really?
So a little bit credit, but
okay.
We haven't played that much lately against Turkey. It used to be more when the scenes were more connected, I would say. Now it's a little bit, Turkey is like getting ready for their VCT qualifiers. So I feel like we're not playing that much against the tier 1 Turkey teams anymore. Sometimes we play against really good Turkish teams still. And I don't know. I feel the same. I think they are not as good as they used to be. I don't know exactly. I think we played once or twice against BBL. I don't even know if we played against Supermassive Blades. But I think it's like reasonable to put them B, C. Maybe I would have put maybe us also to C. It's like it's hard to say.
No way.
Yeah, because it's like we had a really good week. We had good showing the last 6 months, but still like we didn't have so much experience against these teams yet. So there's a big question mark for us at least, but we will be really prepared. But still, I would have understood if we are not B, even worse. So FPX, I think it's fine. I think they played fine. Navi was really close, beating FPX also 3-0 in the final first. So it's also fine. G2, I don't know. London United is pretty strong as well, but a lot of teams are like like D, C, B is like one group almost for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
This
the
is
hard
like
part.
really, yeah. I think the S, A, and S is pretty accurate, I would say. I'm a big fan of Guild, to be honest. Like I think they have almost the two best players right now in Europe. Like not maybe the best two, but one of the best. Like with Leo and Safe. I think both of them are like they're really really good, and which makes them really strong. So and they have a good system working, and I feel like they are pretty strong. And also like in the practice when we played against them. And for the other four teams, I would say from A and S is like the four, I think big names you can say. I feel like they have a little bit disadvantage because they haven't played an official for like months now.
Yeah.
And I don't know how they feel about it, but I feel like I feel even like worse now because we haven't played for like
a week.
1.5 week after playing like 50 maps a week or something. It's just like, and also the new patch, so new maps. So I feel like the four big names, Ascent, Fnatic, Liquid, and Gambit would have liked to play before.
I mean, you guys are in the group with no Turkish teams, right? You're in the CIS teams group. So do you feel like the CIS teams are stronger than the Turkish teams, or would you have not minded which kind of region you get locked into?
Like if I could choose and change with Guild, I would do it gladly. I think the Group B is, for my understanding, weaker. But as I said, I don't have that much experience yet with the Turkish teams, also like in officials. But for me, I felt like when the drawing came that we had the stronger group. But after reading like Twitter and seeing some messages, I felt like the community out there might know more than me, to be honest, that the Turkish teams are stronger than I think maybe. And I think the Group B is a little bit weaker. Of course, no easy A group is easy or something. But when I could choose now, I would like to change because I think the CIS teams playing great Valorant, disciplined Valorant, and they're also playing not standard lineup sometimes. FPX plays like a crazy lineup on Icebox, and Navi also playing something different. So it can be very interesting, and I think London United is a pretty strong team. So I think it's going to be either group will be really, really like hard, and the S tier list, B, C, and D, everyone can beat anyone, and it depends how the other four, I would say, like Ascent, Gambit, Liquid, and Fnatic are like, how do they find in a new year? They haven't played in months. I feel like it's a bit disadvantage for them as well.
I think so. We've seen teams, that haven't like played for months on end. I think FPX, when they used to dodge like mid-tier tournaments, it really hurt them when they got into VCT. Go on.
Yeah, everything's different when the official starts. It's just like the calling and all the stuff. It's a bit different, even if you're experienced.
My list is really different, so this is mine.
Oh boy.
I was a lot nicer. My explanation, honestly, is that I think Liquid, Ascend, Gambit, and Guild, even though we haven't seen those teams yet, I feel like the lack of roster change, the fact that they've all stuck together, Guild look amazing. I think Guild look the best they have ever looked. I would put them in S next to those. Fnatic have made a roster change, and like they've played with Doma for so long. So I have too many questions right now. Like I don't know any of the answers, so I can't justify really putting them above an A tier. As you can see, I have a lot of faith in Turkey. Forza BBL, of course, and I put Supermassive Blaze in there too. FPX actually for me was the one that I wasn't sure about. Like I have a lot of questions about them.
I think for all
well.
of us, to be honest, like
I just can't work it out. And then I think G2 a little bit shaky for them. Navi, I think, are a good team as well. For me, I couldn't even see any teams being C and D tier just because, like you said, Gob, it's like so close.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, the difference is just so minute. Like the only reason I put G2, Navi, and London United in B is that I just have more questions about these teams than I have the other ones. S, other ones, I'm pretty confident about. But then A and B, I just don't know at this point. I'm like, they could be in either tiers. Yeah.
First thing which comes in my mind, let's say any of this S tier teams plays against Guild in a best of 3. I would take anyone right now above them, but it's gonna be close, I guess. So it makes Guild for me maybe A tier. Just because it's like, if I think about a matchup from Liquid against Guild or Ascent or Gambit against Guild, I would maybe think all of these three are a little bit stronger. But you need to say also that I think these three teams are the best teams in the world right now.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
and that's why it makes sense. And yeah, like we said before, it's like it's very close. The European EMEA and also like the European regions are all very strong, and it's very hard. Just one thing to add maybe to G2, it's like they even played like the second qualifier, obviously from the open qualifier on till the very end. And they even played with kind of a stand-in, like with Kellogg's, which is also like, it's hard to play so many maps with kind of a stand-in. So it shows a little bit that they are really strong. And I don't know what happened with the calling of them now, but I know that Pipson was calling a lot for them, but he was not allowed in this tournament to call. So
Nuki's the IGL now. Yeah.
So they have some time now to maybe get this together, and they're also maybe then they could also be pretty easy, I would say. So
it's so
very
hard.
close. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll make your list now because I want to see what you think. We'll go from the bottom up in case. Actually, no, we'll go from the top. I feel like it might
from
be
top
easier
is
to go from
top is easier. Okay, yeah.
Who are you
Liquid,
throwing in the S tier?
Liquid, Ascent, and Gambit for sure. A tier, I would put Guild and Fnatic.
Okay.
Yeah.
B tier, I would put us.
This gets hard.
Us, FBX, G2. And C, I would maybe put Navi, London, BBL, and Massive. But as I said, I don't know so much about the BBL and Supermassive. We just played few times against them, and it felt like in practice they are not as strong as anymore as they were. But it's also maybe that we just got a little bit better and have a better understanding. It feels like for me, it always feels very hard to play against teams which have a very, very high understanding. And if I play against Liquid, for example, even it doesn't matter like what the practice scores, even if we get crushed or they get crushed, it's like you can see they are like the machines over in their head is like working all the time and like changing small stuff. The same for, I would say, even for Ascent and also for Fnatic, I must say. But as I said, like, or as you said, Yinsu, they have a new player, so it's a little bit more like question mark. That's why they are probably not S tier for me right now. But I think like they are A tier with Guild together as the only two teams for me right now.
I want to see you play against Fnatic. I want to put the IGLs to the test.
I think that will be a big game.
That will be able to settle it. Okay, well, that is your list. Let's move on to the second segment. We got to talk about challenges, VCT, all of the qualifier stuff. Of course, congratulations. You guys made it. I don't think many people expected you to make it.
No, we also didn't expect it.
Well, now you've had time to reflect on everything. Like, how do you think that you guys did qualify? Like, what happened?
It started almost 6 months ago, I would say, because we had a new team and we tested so many players. It was wild. It was crazy. We tested for I feel like for months, but it was probably like 5 weeks or something. We had almost everyday practice with someone else, like every time, and then you kind of feel like how good other players are, and the sad part is that we had like last VCT, like in the summer, what we played, it was very close for us, but it felt like we were missing some understanding and firepower as well. But it was very close, and I feel like our core played very well. Doesn't mean that the others didn't play that well, but I felt like that we stepped up the last months the most, like us three, like Arslan, Opnox, and me. And it felt like we needed some young blood because also like the contracts were ending with Alex and Bishop. So we were searching, as I said, for months. Like then we thought like should we go German because it makes sense. We have 3 German players. Then we were searching, and then the first player we were sure about was Kaspe. He was very young, and the problem was I wanted to grind really hard. I knew like we have now time, but we need to grind. Like we need to step up because there was such a gap between us and better European teams, I would say. And then that's what I was like. We need to grind. That's for sure. Doesn't matter who we will get. We need to grind. And on Kasper's part was like he was very well teached, I would say. Like as a player, and in this young age, he was like have a high understanding. Of course, not the level maybe we were at yet, but he was like very close to it. And I liked how he is as a person, but the problem was he still is going to school. And we're like, how are we going to do this? What is going to practice look like? And can we do this grinding? This grinding, what I would like to do. So there was a lot of question marks, but then we felt like, let's go with him because we have 6 months to practice and we need to use the normal free days for like longer days that means like Fridays and Saturdays that we have longer practice days. And we came up like, we made the best out of it, I would say, even starting like middle in the week later. So then the question was who we get as the duelist, because we already knew that Aslan needs to learn a little bit other roles to also increase his higher understanding. And we have 6 months, kind of, we knew what the goal was and that we have a little bit time. And we played with Twisten before a tournament and won it. And but I didn't want it to play with him because I said like I don't want to play with someone who needs to go all the time to school and we have no time to boot camp and whatever. After deciding with Kasper, like the school stuff was like, okay, check man, like doesn't matter too much anymore. And then we went with him, and since then I think we lost just one best of 3. Of course, we couldn't play against these teams we would have liked to play, but we are still grinding. We were trying to find tournaments all the time, like, hey, tonight is a tournament, or like next week. And we knew that it wasn't, not even like tier 1 or tier 2 even, sometimes even tier 3 tournaments. But we tried our best. We tried to grind. We tried to stay in shape. And I think it started everything 6 months ago where we were keep grinding. And the good stuff was that we, a lot of, like, because there was not much to play. A lot of teams were like a little bit lazy, I would say, the last 2 months because there was nothing and everyone was watching Masters and, of course, all these games. And these teams were always getting stronger because they're getting ready to prepare for the biggest tournament in their lives. And we're like waiting in the sideline and playing like smaller tournaments for not as much money and all like not big prestige and not big pressure and stuff. So we tried to stay in shape, and for it was luckily for us that our season would have ended in the November and ending in the end of November. I'm sorry, and it would that was our last tournament. So we had a longer break normally, but then a German tournament organizer said that they will do one more tournament in December, and we're like, okay, man, let's do it. Let's keep grinding. And then we have a few days off. And then, meanwhile, when we were grinding in this month, VCT was announced. They're like, guys, 1 month later, Bloodbath is on, like you need to be in shape. And we were like happily like, okay, let's do a few days off because of Christmas holiday. But then let's keep grinding over the new year. And even Aslan and me went to Berlin to bootcamp, like to just grind it out a little bit to get back in shape after the few days off from Christmas. And all this showed later that we put in the extra hours, I would say. That was the key.
Wow. Yeah, you guys, that's definitely paid off.
Yeah, that sounds like an intense, process to get to where you're at. But I kind of wanted to ask you more about Kaspe and Twisten, them being so young. Do you think that they've taught you anything as not really an old player, but as a player that's played?
As an old player, you can say that.
No, I don't want to say that.
Danny, you're like 18, right, Danny? So you're
I'm 20.
Oh, you're a Zoomer. You're the young one in this, but yeah.
But as someone that's played competitively for a long time, have they taught you anything?
Definitely, like one thing I need to say is like playing with very, very young players. It's like keeping yourself a little bit young. Maybe Kasper taught me a little bit about TikTok.
Are you on TikTok? Are you on TikTok?
No. But sometimes, like, I started to look at some videos, and it's funny, and I like these kind of stuff. But in game, like, of course, you mean like more in game, maybe, or like mindset.
Yeah,
I would say they didn't teach me, like, at least nothing which comes right now in my mind. But definitely, it's like they impressed me by. They need to, like, they need to handle me sometimes. They need to handle a lot of critique, and like they need to understand that all we're saying, or that if someone criticizes you, it's not an attack on yourself. And this is very, like, it's, if you are, I think, older, or like not as young anymore, that this is easier to understand, because you've been through a lot of stuff that needed criticism, and like you understand to reflect yourself better. But for example, Kaspe is like really self-reflecting, and also like Twisten shows a lot of heart in this, that he understands and he wants to be better. So maybe they didn't teach me like in a technical way, I would say, but they impressed me with their mindset in this kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's a good attitude to have when you're that age, because there's a lot of players that, like you said, won't have put the work in, and they will just be defensive and so on. And
yeah, I'm cracked.
you can't improve if you feel that way all the time. But one thing that I think everybody really admires you for, and I want to ask you about, is the motivation, because you've moved to this game quite early on, and you guys picked up a team. BIG had a team from the beginning, like throughout 2020, 2021. How do you stay motivated? Because other CSGO players have moved over, or people that have a lot of experience probably would just turn to streaming, or maybe go into coaching, that they kind of give up this playing role. What was going through your mind for like over a year? How did you kind of stick with this?
I have no idea. I cannot answer this. Sometimes I ask myself, like, I was a lot of time like upset because like my players like didn't, like, they needed to get teached from the start, I would say. Like almost Aslan, I teached him over 1 year, and sometimes I lost my mind, because he's like, why do you want to discuss this again, kind of stuff, that he doesn't just take it or understands certain stuff in the game. But I don't know, maybe it is playing with younger players which are also hungry, that teaches yourself to stay hungry. That this is something, maybe it's the key. But for me, I don't know, like, this is a hard question, because it's like, sometimes I ask myself, why do you just don't code CS? Like, it's much more money.
Yeah.
It's much more money, and I love the CS players. Like, they are like my real brothers, like they're like family for me. And I don't know, it's just like, when I started to play Valorant, it felt like a little bit like the movement and the shooting was like 1.6, and for me 1.6 was always the better game than compared to CSGO. Even though I think CSGO is a really good game right now, I felt like, of course, CSGO was like, CS 1.6 was like my first love kind of thing. So I cannot get over it. And it felt like the movement and everything in Valorant was like similar to it. And I maybe people out there don't know, but I haven't played CSGO from the start on. I played like 3 years where it was out. So I had a lot of, I needed to do so
catch
much
up?
more. Yeah, catch up, exactly. I needed to catch up so much, and it was very hard. Like, when I started playing was like, I had maybe like 600 hours or something. Like, the real pros I was competing against had like 4,000 hours. It was very hard. It was very, very hard. And like, these young players right now, they have same hours as the Thompson, for example. It's like, yeah, they are young, but they play the game. They're competing in the same level. So I was like, I had a really big disadvantage, and I felt like back in the day, that why didn't you just keep playing, that you start the game again? And now in Valorant, I had the first chance when I can start the game, and for me, it's like very interesting how a meta changes, and I can change it myself, because we are the beta players. We are like, like the first teams which will think about the game, will maybe create something, maybe search something new. And I don't know, this is something I really loved, like, these two elements of that it reminds me a little bit of 1.6 and that it's something new and exciting. And also, like, I like the community from the start on. Of course, later on, the matchmaking communities like get a little bit different, but I like the regions, all the regions getting more spotlight, like the Turkish region, for example. So I love the system to that, and that's why I was keep playing. And the more that I played, the more motivated I get. And but there's no secret, I think, behind it. That's why I'm keeping it. Why I'm so motivated still.
I won't lie. There was a few tournaments where you guys you were so close, but then you missed the mark. That I felt like, oh no, is Gob gonna go leave us? Is he gonna go into coaching, whatever? But I'm glad you didn't. Yes. I'm very glad you stayed. Yeah.
Is there anything different from being an IGL in Valorant than there is in CS:GO? I mean, you're one of the most experienced IGLs probably in the world. Is there really any difference between the two games, or do you just lead the same?
No, it's definitely different. But if you and I think your question is more like overall, not like specific in-game stuff. I would say it's the same, but I would also like, it was very, very. I can give you a cool example because we were once in the house of our, like, the old League of Legends house where we were boot camping because they had like off season, but the coach of the League of Legends house was still there, and he's a good friend of ours, and he helped us like in that period of time in the boot camp, and he stayed with us, and he kind of taught us as well, like he coached us. But because a coach and also teaching is more outside of the game, I would say, and more mentality, more communication than just in-game stuff. Even though he doesn't understand that well Valorant, he was like, he knew what our problem was. He was like, he could point out that how someone was feeling and where it maybe come from, and these kind of things stay the same. And fundamentals in FPS, for example, will stay the same. It will stay the same that you need to communicate good, that you need to try to express yourself before something happens. And if you think about something, sometimes you don't need to talk that much. It needs to have a certain level of team play, a certain level of understanding. And all this will not change, I think. And that's why I also probably had not big problems by leading also this game, even though it's in-game very different, I would say. But that's not that hard for someone who's open-minded. For me, for example, I'm pretty open-minded in this kind of stuff, that if something new happens, I let it happen and see and be creative. But in terms of teaching and communicating, I have done maybe 100 times the same presentation, kinda. But to every team I was IGLing, so I have some routine, I would say, by these kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's just like kind of a daily thing for you now. It's just part of your identity now.
Yeah, it is definitely.
I do want to ask, because like I feel like IGLs used to be kind of underrated, right? Like you didn't really fully appreciate them or understand what they do. But I think Valorant, maybe following the footsteps of like so many great IGLs in Counter-Strike, I think I'm seeing a lot more appreciation for in-game leaders already in the first year of this game. Has any other IGLs impressed you, maybe, or someone that you feel like, I respect them, that they're also a pretty good IGL that you've seen?
Yes, of course. Like first, who comes to my mind, like, I mean, where we in the first year we were kind of in the sidelines, so we were watching a lot of like tier 1 games, and of course I need to call Angel out here. I played against him in 1.6, and also like how he was entering and all the stuff. It was just like, like it made me kind of proud that I see him like, shows the young guns how to aim and all this stuff. It's like, it made me happy, and it made me maybe also motivated, like, man, he can do it, maybe I can do it as well, kind of thing, maybe mentality. But I was very happy about him. And of course, like, for example, I like how Bosta's mentality is, and how he is, at least I don't know him that well, but what we can see is like, I would like to have him as IGL, like this kind of
he would like to have you as an IGL, trust me.
Yeah, but it's like I feel his positivity, I feel his it's like very, very, it makes me happy. And I would also like to say it's absolutely right. I would also say that a lot of appreciation, and it's like I feel like that people are not pointing out that much statistics. It's like different statistics, and they have like a different understanding of different statistics. It's like, oh, it is not his role kind of thing. He will not get that much, I would say, utility or whatever. And but one more, I forgot one more before I forget him. It's of course Redgar.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan.
Redgar's a good one.
I'm a really, really big fan.
He's the best, yeah.
I think he's the best right now. But also I must say, even though I like to challenge him once in a while. It's Stone Cold because after they won, he tweeted out that he's the best IGL. So I need to come for him at one point. I need to come for him, but I feel also like that they have a very, very high understanding to dodge the jet. Like they played in some maps almost no utility, and they need to play on reads. That means they need to find out where the jet is without utility. And how do you find it out? It's pretty tricky, and I think he's doing a great job there. So I think these 2 or 3 are the. And I must say also that Yampi stepped up the most last year because I feel like he was struggling a little bit. He needed to do this catching up stuff, what I was doing in CS:GO, but he catch up really fast. Like his understanding is really high, and he's calling and playing really, really great. So these 4 IGLs, I would say, I think it was 4, I'm not sure, but these names are coming up in my mind if I think of great IGLs right now.
We're spoiled. I feel like NA are not in the same position as we are. I think we're a little bit spoiled.
I would have called Nitro because I like him a lot, and I think also like he's a really big man. But we lost him.
We lost him
to his old love, so it's okay. It's understandable.
Yeah, it's definitely understandable. Okay, and let's move on. Oh, Danny, I believe you have one more question, and then we're going to move on to our last segment.
I do, because I'm an old soul, or as Yinsu would say, I'm a Zoomer.
You're a Zoomer. You're on TikTok.
Yeah, I'm on TikTok.
Yeah.
I want to know, for my own personal selfishness, where your name came from. Where does GOB come from?
GOB means is a short term or shortcut of goblin. It's like a green small. I don't know, like monster or whatever, like a small thing. And the B is like it comes from a friend of mine. It's his first how do you say it, letter, or like his first the first letter of his name, and he committed suicide like long year ago, and it was like a tribute to him. Since then I had it and I kept it.
This is the best name I think we've definitely asked about. Yeah. This is a great name. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you know the story of Bone Cold's name, but he thought it sounds... He said it sounds nice when a caster is hyped, so he wanted to have a name that would sound good when it's like Bone Cold with the 3K, things like that.
Oh, that's good.
But I like the mentality because he obviously made that name before he was a pro player, so it's like... He knew he had that in his mind. So I like that attitude. Okay, well, thank you very much, Gob. We're going to move on to the last segment, steering away from Valorant a little bit and just getting to know who you are, what you do, what you get up to. We're going to ask you the first time you've done something and the last time you've done something. I'm going to start this up with what was the last book you read?
It was like it was in the summer when I was in a holiday, and it was like I didn't have a book with me. I forgot mine, which I wanted to read, like at the beach and stuff at home. So I needed to go to the bookstore, and I just bought like not a random, but I was looking for something exciting, and I just read a Stephen King short story book. But I haven't read everything, but like short stuff.
Are you a big Stephen King fan? Do you read his other stuff?
No, I'm not big in reading, but I would like to, because I have also one book here. It's called which I need to like the Art of War or something.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's a very known. I'm gonna definitely read this, but I'm not that big in reading. I'm watching more like podcasts and stuff. So
That is a very IGL book.
it's an IGL book. Yeah, definitely every IGL out there needs to read it because I heard really really good stuff about it, and it's like you will love it. It's exactly for you, and I heard that so often, so it's the next on my to-do list.
Yeah. I recommend that as well. Mm-hmm.
That's perfect. All right. This is my favorite question to ask anyone that's in esports whatsoever. What was the first game you ever played?
Ooh.
Before you were born, Danny. This is probably not a game that you're going to know. Yeah.
But I haven't played like these kind of games I wasn't like too much into PC games back then when I was growing up.
Any game. It could be, the very first game. I think mine was Pokemon. I'm not going to lie.
I think Pokemon was definitely one of these games I played the most. Mm-hmm. Like that was the game I played the most first, and I played it very competitively as well. And I don't know.
Wait, what was your starter in Pokemon? What Pokemon did you choose? Charmander.
Charmander, yeah.
Oh, there we go.
Me too. I don't trust people that pick Bulbasaur.
No.
I don't trust that.
You don't say it out loud. Definitely not. Like this kind of thing. You don't say I picked him. You know. How was the water Pokemon name was?
Squirtle.
Yeah, I think I can understand when people take him, but
me too. Yeah. But you don't pick a tree. You have like a dragon or like a water firing like cannon turtle. But why are you picking a plant? Any other games? Yeah.
Maybe I need to say Pokemon because it was like the first thing I loved the most. So I loved it so much to play it, and I was a big fan as well there.
What was your starter, Danny? You're very quiet there.
Halo 2 actually was mine.
Oh, no, I meant on Pokemon.
Pokemon? You haven't been looking at my Twitter, obviously. I just went on a whole thread with Jason, our editor, who's super into Pokemon. I've never played Pokemon.
What? You've never played Pokemon?
But it's understandable. He's very, very young, no?
Yeah, but I don't know how you dodge it. Like, for me, like, at least, even if you didn't want to play Pokemon, I think you couldn't avoid it. Like, everybody was playing Pokemon.
Do you know what a Game Boy is?
I know what a Game Boy is. I never had one, though. Like, the closest thing I had was, like, the Nintendo, like, DS thing. That was the closest thing I had.
Wow, you're bougie. You bougie. I had a Game Boy too. Yeah, I had a Game Boy Color though, because you know, I that was the thing that people my age had. We're gonna get a bit deeper here, Gobby. When was the last time you cried?
Oh God.
I cry a lot. I cry all the time.
Dark.
So this is an easy question for me.
Maybe the end of last year sometime. Mm-hmm. I was upset about something with my girlfriend or something, and that made me a little bit like, you know, like tears in my eye or something like this maybe. You
don't usually cry? You're not a crier?
I would say I'm not the big crier, but if something sad is happening, I think or like a sad movie, it can bring me some tears. Like a sad anime movie or something. Like it can get some tears. I would probably not cry, but I have some tears in my eyes, I would say.
Are you an anime fan? Do you mean anime as in like the anime or animated like cartoon movie?
Both, but I'm an anime fan, yeah, I would say.
What's your favorite anime? Yeah.
It's a boring answer, but it's Naruto, I would say.
Oh,
yes. Okay. I have a Naruto tattoo, actually.
No, really? Who do you have?
I have Kakashi on my leg.
It's good. I think it's a good choice, man. It's good choice.
Wait, so you've never played Pokemon? I'm pretty sure Naruto came out before you were born.
I just started watching Naruto like
this show has been around.
Last year.
This show will not end. It's just forever. Yeah. I watched a little bit of Naruto, but like. I didn't have the commitment. Let's put it that way. Like I couldn't.
I understand this. But if I need to say a shorter one, I would say Death Note. It's also a little bit boring question, but boring answer because it's just It's just the best, yeah, I would say.
Another very IGL anime.
The people who wants to start with anime don't start with these because your expectations are too high then after this.
Oh yeah. If you started with Death Note and then you're like, oh, I'll watch something else, and you're like, this sucks.
It's like, man, this is boring. Where's this mind versus mind and outplay? No, man, this is Death Note is special.
Have you watched Haikyuu at all? Do you watch Haikyuu?
Yeah, I watched it. Yeah,
Haikyuu's good too.
I
always wanted to watch the Naruto Basket or something, the basketball.
Kuroko no Basuki.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's like I haven't like the motivation yet. For me, the best sport anime is like Tsubasa. It's like old one when I watched when I was a kid, and I watched it then. So I don't watch too many sport animes, I would say.
What about like animated stuff? More like less Eastern, more Western stuff.
I watch here and there. I had a site for example, when I was in NA, I had a site where I can watch a lot of movies, and it showed me an IMDb list like the best movies, and I could watch it, and I watched there. Like there was a lot of random movies like Batman versus the Ninja Turtles and Samurai. It was like crazy, but I was sitting there and I just watched it and I enjoyed it. I must say, it was crazy. They were going back in time, traveling to the samurai. It was crazy. But I like also like a little bit trash things, but like what the normal human would say is trash. But I'm watching it as well.
Oh, I love that.
Gosh. I love that. All right. We've got so derailed, but it's perfect. It's perfect. All right. Who is your first IGL?
I played in a team where like it was like a German squad where like a lot of players were, but it was not like really a team. And there was a guy. I think he would maybe be my first IGL. After that, I almost take over, I would say, every time, because I told him also that he sucked and I can do it much better. When I was I was like 17 or 18 or something, or 16. I told him like,
that's so funny.
Let me call. It's you're not doing it great and bad. And after that, I would say the only IGL I had was, or like two maybe, was when I started for Mousepot, it was Carpio, but his plan was always, you're gonna call, but let me lead the team in the first month so you understand my leading style, my understanding of the game in 1.6. And yeah, he led the team first and then gave it to me. And before I end my CSGO career, I let Tubson lead. So these two were maybe my real IGLs, I would say. I would not count the first one.
The ones that didn't suck.
Yeah, but no, I got kicked after 1 or 2 days playing because I was a bit toxic, I guess. And it was also something good for me because I didn't want to play with these people as well. So,
how would you react if a player said to you that you suck? I can't imagine anyone doing that, but if they did.
They can do it, I think. They can tell me if they can explain it in a good way, that why I'm bad in something. Then I would take it like I would not judge it, but if I think I am right, it's gonna be very hard for you to prove me wrong and prove your statement right. I would say. Because I think I am very, how do you call it, objective in like rating myself and rating my self skill. So if I say like, to be honest, guys, I just needed to kill him there, or like I whiffed, or I think I called bad, then I'm already criticizing myself more than my players, I would say. But if someone would do it, I would not like bite his head off or something.
Backhand, just slap him. Yeah. Actually, real quick before we move on, because I know the IGL role. Sometimes like people become IGLs because no one else on their team can because they have to. Why did you become an IGL? It sounds like you wanted to when you were really young.
It started definitely when I played football in a team. I didn't really want to become a captain, but like the team chose me in one day to be a captain, and since then I was always the captain. But after that, I wanted always to be the captain, also like in the other teams. And I don't know, I just like to take responsible for others, and I have a gift, I would say, to make others better by understanding the global picture and how they see it, so I can talk in their language, in their understanding language with them to explain stuff. And I like also to give mathematic lessons. I don't know how it's called in English, like if you help someone after the school.
Oh, like tutoring.
Yeah.
Tutoring. Yeah, I like to do that as well. So these kind of two things, I would say, combined made me to wanted to be a captain in esport.
Yeah, it's rare. No, I think a lot of people they just have to be IGL because no one else can do it on their team. Yeah. Let's go back to movies. What was the last movie you watched?
I think it was Spider-Man.
Oh, did you like it?
Yeah, I liked it a lot. I recommend it. Was close to the Mercedes-Benz Arena. It's a good theater, and the theater was like normal, like really big screen, but there was like two more screens on the left and right.
Oh, wow.
So you felt like when he's like doing, like his scenes, that you were a little bit in the middle instead of just like looking at the screen.
Oh, that's really cool. Like a
I've
surround.
never seen that before.
Yeah.
That's really
cool,
actually.
It's a very cool theater.
Are you a Marvel fan? Do you like the Marvel superheroes?
Yeah, I think I'm a overall superhero fan, and of course, Marvel just normal. Like if you asked me before all this Marvel universe, like these movies came, I would have like, do you like like the Marvel or like DC? I would go with DC, but at the moment, like the better movies is just like by Marvel. I would say more better entertainment and like better well thought, they created a better universe, I would say. So, but I liked more like, because my favorite superhero is Batman for sure.
Oh, okay.
That's why I would like to go with him normally.
Who's your favorite Marvel superhero then?
Normally Spider-Man, because there was a animated cartoon when I was younger and I was watching it always. So I would go with Spider-Man. It's like nothing like really surprising, because it's like the most famous, I would say, in both categories.
It's a good choice. I
don't know. I feel like Spider-Man's like he's the solid choice. He's the kid that everyone roots for.
Choice. Yeah.
Right. Now we're still all over the place. Back to video games. What was the last game you played outside of Valorant?
I would say I play a little bit Dead by Daylight.
Oh, okay.
But if you mean like single player, I would need to think, and I would say like I think it was 2 years ago for Christmas, but because sometimes it's like all your Christmas friends, because I'm not celebrating Christmas, but all your Christmas in Christmas holidays, every friend is like disappearing and doing stuff with his family, and so you cannot play online anymore. Then this is the time where I maybe play like for a few days a single player game. I have also not the patience to play it, because I go back into maybe playing like Valorant, CS, or like maybe Dota 2 or something. So I need to say it was Star Wars. I don't know the name. You definitely had a lightsaber, so
Battlefront. Yeah, is that
no, not Battlefront. I think it was, or maybe it was, but it was like on computer, and you played someone who was a Jedi. So
do you like Star Wars as well? You just like everything I like.
I like Star Wars. Yeah, I like it, but I haven't watched too many. I need to watch the series of
Mandalorian.
Yeah. I've watched the first season. and there's another one came up.
The Boba Fett one, yeah.
Yes,
that's the
exactly.
latest
This is also what I need to watch. It's on my list.
Yeah, I haven't watched that either, but I love Star Wars. I love Star Wars, but I also hate Star Wars. It's a very complicated relationship.
No, this is like every Star Wars fan is feeling it right now, because I have like good friends which are like they're like I would not call myself a fan because I like to watch it, but I know what a fan looks like, and these are like, like they are like they're waiting and they know everything, and they're a little bit disappointed on the movies. For me, they were like somewhere like more entertainment, someone were less entertainment, but for them it was like, like as a real fan, they were both disappointed. So I feel it.
Yeah, I went through a lot of emotional distress, which I won't go into now. But last question here. Who was the first person you called after you qualified for VCT?
Definitely didn't call anyone straight away because it was first like celebrating with the team. But after that, I talked with my girlfriend, I would say. I didn't really call her. I just messaged her. I messaged a little bit my family. Like, I'm not a guy who's like, like calling people or like writing fast back, messaging back. And also like everyone because we played from the big office and everyone was like cheering for us anyway. So everyone was like there anyway. I don't know. And like 2 or 3 days later, my phone broke. So I needed to order a new one, and it took so long, so I couldn't really call it like anyone.
Well, thank you so much, Kobe, for joining us. Danny, do you have any more questions?
No, it's been a pleasure. I love talking about.
What is my favorite TikToker?
Yeah, who's your favorite TikToker? Do you
have one? Gosh,
you just know, like, I don't know the names or something, but I know this guy, like, this is the most famous, like, he's like doing this, like
oh, I love him. Yeah,
I do know who you're talking about.
He's hilarious.
But I don't have someone like especially.
I don't really either. I just go through and get into the wormhole.
Boasters on TikTok if you want to watch him.
I saw some
maybe.
and I liked it a lot, yeah.
Well, thank you so much.
He should get his own show, by the way. He should get his own show.
You think?
Yeah, he's funny.
He's funny, but you should see all the ideas that doesn't get posted. They're just outrageous.
This is normal for IGL. Like, you know how many crazy ideas I had before we, like, sometimes I come up with an idea and I feel like really, I really believe in it, and it's like, Gob, it's this time again where you are maybe a little bit over the top, so calm down. And then this is like normally, but the good thing about the really good IGL is to sell his ideas. If he sells his idea to his team and they believe in it, they will, like it will work. It's not all about the idea. It's like how you sell your idea.
Yeah,
you need to be a good salesman as well.
I'll pass that on. He's going to come in and say hi in a second. Let me wrap up the show and then you can come and say hi to Gob. But thank you so much, Gob, for joining us. Thank you, Danny, as well. And absolutely love both of your tier lists. If you guys enjoyed this episode at home, give us a like, subscribe, and we'll be back with another episode of Showstopper next week.